here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Now this one, this is a good old Phil. Out of the Morehead State. Paying them back a little bit there, right? I don't even know. Not many phenomenal players have been coming out of Morehead State, entering the NFL, right? Especially, Phil Simms had himself a heck of a career. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, obviously, but the probably the best thing that ever happened to him was when he got injured in 1990 against the Buffalo Bills, because to be fair, he was not the type of quarterback that was, the best quarterback that we had on the roster to take us was Jeff Hostetler because of his mobility. Phil Simms was not mobile. 1990, the Giants went into San Francisco. Monday night game. We lost 7-3. Good defensive struggle. Now, the Giants, if they played their cards right, possibly could have won that game with a couple more field goals, but it's either here or there. But with Sim, we got 3 points. We went there later on in the championship game to San Francisco, right? And we scored 5 field goals. With Sims, we scored 1. Hostetler, we scored 5. Now, of course, it was a fake punt in there, but we scored more points with Jeff Hostetler because of his mobility. Same thing, when we played Buffalo, right? Buffalo, that's when Sims got hurt. Hostetler comes into the game. We still lost the game at home to Buffalo, but his mobility really helped us out. Especially in the Super Bowl. We wound up scoring more points in the Super Bowl against Buffalo than we did at home against Buffalo when Phil Simms was in there. Right? So might have been the best thing that ever happened for the Giants that year when Simms got hurt. We put a mobile quarterback in there. But regardless, Phil Simms, had himself a heck of a career. And it's finally he's getting paid back, rewarded, whatever you want to call it, from Morehead State. They're going to rename a football venue after him. Good for him. Morehead State to rename football venue after New York Giants 2-time Super Bowl champion. Morehead State is set to rename its football stadium to honor program alumni and Super Bowl champion quarterback Phil Simms. The university announced it will hold a dedication ceremony on October 18th to officially change the facility's name to Phil Simms Stadium. And the New York Giants legend will be in attendance during the homecoming weekend festivities. The Eagles' 10,000-seat home venue opened in 1964. Wow, it's 60 years old. Ooh. And is presently named Jayne Stadium, honoring late Professor William LeGrande Jayne. The historical naming will remain present when the university installs an honorary plaque inside the stadium entrance. Phil Simms has remained loyal to MSU throughout the years, said Morehead State Athletic Director Kelly Walls. He has given MSU his time, talent, and treasure to MSU since his days as a college athlete. He has visited Morehead during the summers to host summer camps for young athletes and encourage them to consider MSU. He has mentored MSU coaches and players throughout the years. Most notable, he has hosted numerous fundraising events and personally contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to support the football program. This recognition is most deserving and long overdue. Now, once again, this goes to show you. I mean, it's how things kind of changed, somewhat. Because I mean, you look like Josh Allen. He got taken right where he got his stats in college were not super duper spectacular. So I mean, stats in college are just not the be all end all. Oh my God, the guy completed 70% of his. Oh my God, he's a Hall of Famer. Oh my God, you got to draft this guy. No, No, sorry. Yeah, some people, it's amazing. I mean, when Haskins, God rest his soul, was going up again. There was the Haskins Daniel Jones debate. Haskins completed 999% of his passes at Ohio State. Daniel Jones completed 50% at Duke. Well, you don't go to Duke to play football. You go to Duke to play basketball. And at Ohio State, usually they have 39 first-round wide receivers come out in the draft every year. So you got to kind of look at, who's playing. And so a lot of people are arguing that Haskins should have been taken over Daniel Jones because Haskins completed like 70-something% of his passes. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones is completing barely like 50%. So they're looking at the stats. It's like, well, you take a 74% completion percentage over 50 anytime. What are you, stupid? No. No. You gotta look. A lot of body of work to look at and all that and everything, right? But just goes to show you, you look at Phil Simms' numbers. Oh my God. They were horrible. Horrible. And the weird thing is that if the Giants did not, his numbers were straight up trash. And we're going to go over them in a second. Just horrible, Morehead State. And he was going to get picked well before Joe Montana, who got, I think it was the third round he got taken. Joe Montana, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. If you listen to Lawrence Taylor thinks, Joe Montana was the great, because he said Tom Brady wouldn't last a couple weeks back in the 80s. The amount he'd get hit, the way he'd get hit and all that, he wouldn't last. But if the Giants didn't draft Phil Simms, Bill Walsh of the 49ers was going to draft him. He was going to take Phil Simms over Joe Montana of the Notre Dame. And Joe Montana of Notre Dame won a national championship with Notre Dame. Right? And he had some nice numbers. He had that it was the Cotton Bowl I think he had like a flu at halftime or something like that. Notre Dame was down by, what the hell we did now, like 34-13 or something, like going into like the last quarter, and they threw like 3 touchdowns, or they got 3 touchdowns in the final like 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game and won the game. What an unbelievable comeback. But Joe Montana's comeback victories in the Cotton Bowl. He's winning national championships. He's on Notre Dame. He's touchdowns, all this stuff and everything, right? And he went in the third round. Some guy from Morehead State, where we at here, he closed his career. He had 545 yards passing. He had 32 touchdowns. Does it have it here? Oh, there we go. All right, here we go. But Phil Simms finished his career at Morehead State with a 48.9% completion percentage, threw 32 touchdowns, and 45 interceptions. He had a 2-6-1 record in his 2-6-1 in his senior year. No bowl appearances in 4 years, and he got picked number 7 overall. Are you kidding me? Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why sometimes stats are a little misleading. Let's see here. Morehead State Eagles ran a ball control offense, and Simms' numbers were unspectacular. In his senior season, he completed 92 of 173 passes for 53% completion percentage and had 6 touchdown passes and 11 interceptions. Senior season, 53% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. He had twice as many interceptions as he had touchdowns. And he got taken number 7 overall. And he was a pretty good quarterback. The Ohio Valley moved up to the new Division 1 AA in 78, but the Eagles went 2-6-1. They failed to make the postseason during his college career. Sims finished with 409 completions, 835 attempts, 48.9% completion percentage. He also totaled 32 touchdowns, 45 interceptions, and he had a school record 5,545 passing yards. Before the 79 draft, new San Francisco 49ers head coach Bill Walsh flew to Morehead State with assistant coach Sam Weitz to work out Sims. Walsh was so impressed that he planned to draft Sims in the third round, preferring him over the quarterback they ultimately took, Joe Montana of Notre Dame. But the Giants decided to make Sims their first round selection, 7th overall, to the surprise of many. As Sims acknowledged, most people have never heard of me. When Sims' name was announced by Commissioner Pete Rozelle in front of the audience at the draft in New York, his selection was booed loudly by the Giant fans in attendance. Yep. But it just goes to show you, he was the second quarterback taken. Jack Thompson of Washington State went to Cincinnati with the 3rd overall pick. So Sims was not happy about being a Giant either. All I was thinking was which teams I would rather play for, the Green Bay Packers, the Chiefs, the Chargers, or the 49ers. Nonetheless, he became popular with his teammates, who jokingly dubbed him Prince Valiant in his rookie training camp. But with a crappy team, Sims won his first 5 starts of his rookie year in 1979. He was 6-4 as a starter, threw for 1,743 yards, 13 touchdown passes, and was named the NFL All-Rookie Team. He was runner-up for Rookie of the Year behind future teammate Otis Anderson. Now, Otis Anderson had himself a fine, absolutely a fine rookie season. But let's see here. What ensued over the next 15 seasons was one of the all-time great careers by a Giant. Absolutely. You're a kid. Sims won 2 Super Bowls, earned a pair of Pro Bowl selections, and was the 1993 NFL Man of the Year. Giants, who retired his number 11 jersey and inducted him into the Ring of Honor, Sims remains the NFL rookie record holder for the highest completion percentage in a Super Bowl, 88%, and boasts the highest passer rating in a Super Bowl, 150.9. So Sims returned to Morehead State campus in 2015 to complete his education and received the Bachelor of University Studies degree. The school also awarded him with an honorary doctorate of humane letters degree to recognize his lifetime of service to Morehead State. So that's really, really good. He certainly deserved it. Without question. Now, he really had a great career with the Giants. Now, if you go back in time, right, you look at like all of the great quarterbacks, especially a lot of them, obviously, that went to like the Hall of Fame, right? You look at one of the common threads, right? I mean, obviously, the quarterbacks that went to Hall of Fame were pretty good, right? But one of the common threads, right, especially throughout their career, right, is that I didn't look at every quarterback in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff, but a lot of them, right, for one way or the other, they also had greatness around them. They played with greatness, meaning I don't mean Phil Simms played with Lawrence Taylor. I'm saying, to raise their playing, their game, right? The quarterbacks. You look at a lot, whether it's on the offensive line, a running back, or a tight end, or a receiver, to whatever. A lot of the quarterbacks that go into the Hall of Fame had Hall of Fame players that they were playing with on the offense. I said, whether it was in a good offensive line. I said, you look at Terry Bradshaw, right? You had Mike Webster, the center, Franco Harris, running back, and he had 2 Stallworth and Swan. So he had 4 Hall of Famers he's playing with, right? I said, you look at Bart Starr, right? I mean, he had Hall of Famers, right? Taylor, Horning, a couple of guys on the offensive line, right? So I'm not saying that. I said, look at Joe Namath, Don Maynard, Roger Staubach had, Joe Montana, right? Some guy, he was throwing the ball to some guy by the name of Jerry Rice. So a lot of these quarterbacks, right, that really did good, that are in the Hall of Fame and all of that, played with greatness, right? help elevate everybody else, right? I mean, of course, with Phil Simms, right? I mean, his Hall of Fame wide receivers he threw the ball to was right. No, no, oh, no, there weren't any. But Mark Bavaro, the Hall of Fame tight end, that no, he's not in the Hall of Fame either. No, so Phil Simms didn't play with Hall of Fame tight ends either. No. But the running backs. I mean, it was just one after the other. I mean, it was the running back. I didn't play with Hall of Fame running backs either. But his offensive line. I mean, he had so many offensive linemen that are now in the Hall of Fame. No, he didn't have any of them either. He had none. Right? I mean, once again, I'm not saying he's Dan Marino, Joe Montana. I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, he's Peyton. I'm not saying that. But you look at a lot of guys, right? I mean, Peyton Manning would be in the Hall of Fame regardless. But he had Marvin Harrison, right? I don't know, whoever else he's had in his career. Look, Tom Brady. He had a couple guys. He had Randy Moss. He had the Gronk. Gronk's going to go in the Hall of Fame. A lot of, Patrick Mahomes got Kelsey. You look at a lot of these guys, a lot of these quarterbacks, okay, that are going into the Hall of Fame or in the Hall of Fame, throughout their career, usually, I said, I haven't gone back and looked at everyone, so please forgive me, but usually what might be a good offensive line, a great running back, or somebody, they played with greatness, right? Phil Simms, I mean, as a team, they played great running game and all that. But I mean, what wide receivers did Phil Simms throw to? Do we have a Jerry Rice running around? No, you got to be kidding me. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love them all. And Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker, Callaway, all of those guys. I love them all. Absolutely love every one of them. But do we have a Hall of Famer? I don't even know if any of those guys even made a Pro Bowl. I don't. Hey, so Phil Simms really wasn't playing, with super spectacular talent on the offensive side, right? So for what he did, right? It's not too bad. Not being a 7th overall pick overall. I mean, I said not one Hall of Fame player I can think of. It was on the Giants for extended period of time. Or the Giants tried to play by him, right? No, he did pretty good for himself. But those college stats sometimes they're a little misleading. They are a little misleading, right? I mean, those stats I just rattled off at Morehead State were unbelievably horrible. And the Giants still took him number 7 overall.